All right, let's talk about Callum O'Hare, an attacking midfielder, right-footed, 26 years young, 27 next May from Solihull, but O'Hare is of Irish descent. However, he has represented England at under 20 level, winning one cap. Now, he's 5'9", great height for a man. That's 1.75 metres. I'm reliably informed by Wikipedia. He can play in a variety of positions. I've had a little look at a career breakdown, and take a deep breath. It's a lot. He can play pretty much anywhere. He's very much like, just think of a player that can play anywhere. He's pretty much like that player. So attacking midfield, he's played 132 times in that kind of central attacking midfield role where when he's played there, he's done really well. Imagine this. You're playing there and it just all clicks because 132 appearances in attacking midfield, 21 goals and 30 assists. He's also played in central midfield 32 times. As a second striker, 20 times. He's played on the right side of midfield. I mentioned he's right-footed. He's played on the left side of midfield. He's actually done very well from the left. His position when playing on the left is be the left wing or left midfield. And actually, if you put both of them together, because when I looked at transfer market, they kind of break them apart. But left wing, if we add that to left midfield, it's 13 rather than 12. So, yeah. Anyway, but that would be 13 appearances there, 6 goals and 3 assists. I mean, woof. Centre forward, he's played as well as right wing and defensive midfield. So a lot of positions. Admittedly, only played defensive midfield once. But interesting, he did score twice when playing there. Now, O'Hare's uncle is a former footballer, Ian Clarkson. His sister, Aaliyah, is a multiple world champion Irish dancer. And his older brother, Kieran, previously played for the Coventry City Academy. Now, Callum started his career with Aston Villa, for whom he made 9 appearances between 2017 and 2019. That's when he was actually like a signed pro, because he had been there as a youth player for, in total, 15 years he was with the club. And he played those games for the Villa when they were in the Championship, 4 in the league that he played, the rest Cup. And he also enjoyed loan spells at Carlisle United and then Coventry City, who he would join permanently, as we know. But if we look at Carlisle, that was 16 appearances and 3 goals. That was 2018-19 season. Coventry on loan, though, was where it all started to come together. 2019-20 season in League One, 40 appearances and 4 goals. And on the 25th of June 2020, Callum O'Hare was released by Aston Villa. So he had that successful loan spell at Coventry. Villa decided they would go in a different direction, and following his release from Villa, O'Hare signed permanently for Coventry. So they got him on a free. They said goodbye to him on a free. That was the 15th of July 2020, a 3-year deal. He had a great time with the Sky Blues. Only really one major down point, and it actually came against Sheffield United, where O'Hare had suffered an ACL injury. I mean, a terrible injury, as anyone knows, and he was stretched off just 10 minutes into a 3-1 defeat to the Blades. That was on the 26th of December 2022. He would be out for 9 months for Coventry. But in total, he would play in all competitions 182 games, have 20 goals and 30 assists. Really encouraging numbers. In the Championship, in his career, it's 137 appearances, 14 goals and 23 assists. He's yet to play in the Premier League. In total, in his career, including Premier League 2 and FA Youth Cup, he's made 269 appearances, scored 41 goals, and has 45 assists. Very encouraging numbers. I like these kind of numbers. Now, there's a lot to like about O'Hare. I watched a number of matches he played in to get a better measure of the player. There's a goal he scored against Norwich City at Carrow Road, which I think best exemplifies his attitude. He receives the ball left-hand side of the box. So, number one, good positive positioning. He drives forward using both feet, and there's trickery to get into a scoring position. So progressive and technical ability on show within seconds in just one clip. And from the left foot to the right in an instant to shape for the shot and give him the best angle to score, which he does from close range after working his way into that position and creating just enough space to get a shot away. Did I mention there were 8 Norwich players in the box during this goal? Admittedly, only 2 of them actually were on the task of O'Hare, but he sent 2 of them to the shops for some pop, with just one drop of the shoulder. It's exciting stuff and just what United need since Iliman and Dye left. And don't think for one second I'm comparing the 2 as like for like. They're not. I'm purely saying creativity has been lacking in some areas, and more of that can only be a good thing and thoroughly welcome a beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. Another thing I noticed and was slightly surprised at was his ability to get in a position to make an interception. He doesn't seem fearful. Will put his foot in if he believes a ball can be won, and almost always looks to try and be positive, get the ball moving forward. Some clips I saw he looked like a selfish player. Sometimes he didn't look like a selfish player, you know. And this is despite his ability to create and at times do it on his own. There was selfless acts in many of the matches I saw and some of the highlight reels as well. As he progresses up the leagues or plays with better players, you know, that kind of thing may wane or lessen slightly, or he may feel he can compete at the next level when the opportunity comes and kick on to show us even more of his undoubted ability on the ball. He takes a nice penalty. There's one I saw, it was 5 steps, jump, right foot finish, bang, keeper the wrong way. It's an unusual technique to like kind of leap up or hop if you want on one foot, and you know, it worked, so great. He has that ability to run at players, so naturally that will draw fouls, it'll create free kick opportunities, take pressure off, and just give his teammates a rest. Useful to have in the arsenal of any side. I feel like his eye for a pass, he seems to take risks. That can mean he sometimes gets it wrong, and I saw a fair few passes go astray, but when it works, it's often worth the risk. So some passes are offline, some don't work, but he tries the unexpected as well as the simple. He mixes it up, and that keeps opponents guessing, and perhaps his own teammates will probably be guessing as well. You know, there's often players that you watch and you think, like Peter Unlove, I remember, does he even know what he's going to do with the ball next? Gelling with a player like Callum O'Hare, I think could take a while. So, you know, this could be crucial. It could take him and his teammates to be on the same wavelength a while, apart from maybe 𝗏𝗂𝗏, who will know him well and will have no doubt praised him and his character to Chris Wilder and sold the club to Callum. It kind of works both ways. Callum is, by all accounts, a popular person in the dressing room. He's been compared on some forums I saw to Jack Grealish, one describing him as the championship Grealish. Maybe that's just the hair. I don't know. Although some Cov fans said he does like the attention on him, and that has sometimes detracted from the other players. But I need to reiterate, you know, the ability with the ball with both feet. You know, he is right-footed, but he has scored and created goals with his left. And this will present any defender with a conundrum. Callum could play left wing for United. If we go 4-3-3, as I have been speculating on this channel, it's something we could look at doing for a long time now. So that could be interesting. And as I say, I've speculated a few times that we will. Or he could play as a 10. Now, I've mentioned that attacking midfield has been predominantly the position he's played most games, and he could drift either side, allowing other players to drop into the middle. So let's say we play him as a 10 and he drifts to the right or the left. You've got other players then taking up that position. That's going to cause havoc with any side that attempts to go man for man with their marking. I like the sound of this. He likes to receive the ball, turn, look up, pick out a pass. You know, it's classy, it's quality. It's not always a given with some midfielders that they can do the simple things like receive a pass, look up and pick a pass in red and white. Not always a given. Now, with any player who has this kind of trickery, low centre of gravity, close control, dribbling ability and fleet-footedness, there can be a tendency, and I'm not always sure there's a rhyme or reason for it, to blow hot or cold. You know, perhaps have a run of good games, then a dip in form, an inconsistent spell, or go missing in a game or two, perhaps more so if you play on the wing. That's sometimes the case with wingers, that maybe the game isn't being contested in these wider areas, something we've seen at championship level before. I wouldn't say he appears much of an aerial threat, but I remember watching him win a header against Wolves, a brave header, 2 players going for the ball. He wasn't necessarily the one I'd have said was favourite, but he didn't pull out, knew he'd get clattered. He did get clattered, and he won his team a free kick. Brave, you know, that's team play, and you love to see it. O'Hare on the left, if that is the way it would go, you know, Andre Brooks, Ollie Arblaster, 𝗏𝗂𝗏 around him, could be very exciting. Smells like goals. Who says no? And another thing to consider, if you're not sold on this for the lad, well, O'Hare would be guaranteed a starting place with plenty of game time. He can continue to develop at United. And I've been reading a lot of Coventry fans saying some fairly disparaging things about him. And that's probably because Coventry fans actually don't want to lose him. It's just the way that they've reacted. But some have been very honest. A couple of Cov fans have said things, and I will share those things. Actually, more than a couple. Glenn Waters at Glenn WA 455-21480, you need to change that handle, said average top half championship player. At Beyond Hope 36388, change that as well. Since he's come back from his ACL, he's really blown hot and cold. On his day, he'll entertain your fans with quality passing, movement and goals. Other times, he overplays, gets himself into trouble. Don't know who you've got in midfield. You know one of them. But he could be a worthy asset, end quote. At Peter in Glove. Actually, I'm fine with that. That's a fine handle. He's good, but goes missing at times. Most Cov fans aren't too fussed he's going. Lost a yard of pace also since his ACL. Saying that, I'd rather have him at Cov than not. At Sky_Blue_Goblin says, decent mover of the ball. Work rate is exceptional. Will harass defenders all day long. Used to struggle with his finishing, but got better. Could be very hot and cold form-wise, though. It's interesting. I wrote everything I said before I read these. Sometimes you can tell I'm reading things for the first time. At 𝐶CFCSBA1379 says, honestly, think he is overrated with the things he does on the ball, but of the ball, he means off the ball. Off the ball, he is amazing and only really scores or assists from winning the ball back high up the pitch and can't really find a pass that unlocks a defence. So if you sit him back, it doesn't suit his style of play. Which I think is interesting. You know, winning the ball back is something I like to see a player do. William Anandai did that for us. You know, whenever he lost it, he'd always try and win it back. So anyway, those are the quotes from commentary fans there. Now, when comparing Callum O'Hare with other players of similar ilk, similar ability, in this case, we had a little look at 𝗤𝗂 𝗏𝗏, who plays in Belgium, and Liverpool's 𝗣𝗿𝗶𝗏𝗏𝗃, or 𝗏𝗏𝗃, if you want to say it the way it's spelled. We look at progressiveness. 𝗏𝗏 has the most progressive carries plus passes at 11.03 per game, which is really, really good. Followed by O'Hare. Passing, each player has 80% or more in accuracy, with 𝗏𝗏𝗃, I can never say his name, ranking highest. However, O'Hare is strongest in the opposition half, receiving a success rate of 83%. I mean, that's really good. That's better than 𝗏𝗏𝗃. It's better than the Liverpool lad. O'Hare and 𝗏𝗏 do not play safe either due to progression, but have still got that quality accuracy, which you like to see. And when comparing all three, Callum O'Hare progresses the ball slightly more, but creates slightly less. There's just than those two, but, you know, enough of me. I've said all the words. What do you think, Blades fans? Let me know your musings, your ponderings, and your other things in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're receiving me orally via podcast, aorally, give us a 5-star review on iTunes. That'd be really appreciated, and we will catch you next time.